All right, Chad, I think we're live. Can you all hear me? Purple 898. Gotta hate when that happens. All right, let us see. Refresh the page on YouTube and see if that's working. Okay. I think it's working. I think it's working. Yep, there we go. Okay, it is working. I think. Oh no, let me know in the chat. Can you all hear me? Okay, CJ says, yep. Okay. Hi, Bot Bestie. Hello, Bot Bestie. Hello, guys. Purple 898. Hello, Supersonic. Welcome. CJ just got back from BF's house. Ah, we love Jack. We love Jack in this community. Jack is peak boyfriend. All right. Well, then without further ado, we're gonna do my little intro for today before we launch into what we're gonna talk about. So, ba 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 ba. I really don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm just gonna kind of sing the song like this. There we go. That was my little intro. I don't want to get copyrighted, so you're gonna listen to my bad singing while I play back my little Star Wars intro. Let's see. Check back in. Hello, Ironhide. Welcome in. Payman, hello. Jack says hi. Also, happy 4th. Happy May the 4th. That is what we're all here for today, because today is May the 4th, which is the official Star Wars holiday, based on the joke, May the 4th be with you. And let's see. So today we're going to talk about Star Wars and the influence and references that it's had in the War Chronicles universe. I know you guys have definitely caught some Star Wars references and some Star Wars stuff that I've used in my videos, but I have a whole set of links so that we can do a full deep dive into what sort of Star Wars stuff has influenced my content and how I use it. Ironhide Studios. I know nothing of Star Wars. I'm going to be incredibly confused. Oh, I'm sorry, bro. That's okay. You can still learn new things from this. CJ, only bits and pieces. Oh, you gotta get Jack to remedy that. You probably make him the happiest guy ever if you just sat down and were like, I would like to watch Star Wars with you. Happy May the 4th, Purple 898, especially the music. Oh yeah, Sparks of War. Sparks of War definitely had a lot of Star Wars inspiration, right down to the music, which was made by a fan composer who gives his music out for free. And so he is really good at mixing Star Wars motifs into his own little compositions so they don't get picked up by copyright. He's given express permission to his fans to use his works. So that's how I get away with using Star Wars music in Sparks of War. And his name is Louise Humanoid. I'm going to go ahead and open a new tab so I can plug his channel because his content is really excellent and a good interpretation of Star Wars music remixed in a new way. So this is him, Louise Humanoid. I first found him from the stuff he did for a Republic Commandos stop motion film. But here's a couple of his Star Wars soundtracks. This is from a fan film for the Empire, Prisoner Transfer. I believe this one was live action or 3D animated. And then this Alpha Squad Republic Commandos. This is a Lego stop motion. And then another part of a Republic Commando project. This is a live action Star Wars fan film, Syndicate. And he basically has a lot of Star Wars fan music that are original compositions mixed with some motifs that you might have heard in Star Wars soundtracks. But he's great, and I'd love to plug his channel because he does all of this and he puts it up for free. So I feel like he definitely deserves to be shouted out. I don't. I think I'm hooked up to my headphones. 2-8. I don't know if they can hear you.
Alright, cool.
But 2-8 says hi, everybody. Let's check back in on the chat. Jack's salty about how much Star Wars stuff you were able to get away with in Sparks of Wars. Copyright my ass. We're watching Clone Wars together, as you should be. As you should be. Yeah, Ahsoka will always be my girl. Always and forever. I was obsessed with her when I was a kid. I still am.
Ahsoka show.
Let's see, 137 toys. First, JK, do people still do that? Sometimes, but mostly as a joke. Prince Productions. Hello, peasants. I love War Chronicles. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, that's smart, because I had to explain that to him, because he was like, how did she pull this off? It was kind of funny to watch him crash out over it. Yeah, I never thought I'd be able to use any sort of Star Wars music in my stop motions, but thanks to this fella, I'm able to. So shout out Louis Humanoid. But yeah, I'm currently watching Clone Wars, and the few times we get to visit Ahsoka is a delight, and Tween Spunk. I love Jar Jar, but also hate him too. That's fair. That's very fair. With 37 toys, I can hear. KM Prime Productions. Hello. Hey, what's up, KM? The voice of Motormaster, debuting in Left in the Dust. Welcome in, my guy. Super Gamer and Plus Show. Hi, how are you, War Chronicles? I'm doing great. Prince Productions. I shall have to be a party pooper here and say I've never been a Star Wars fan. Well, you're in for a treat, man. This is going to be almost entirely Star Wars centric tonight, so maybe you'll have fun. You never know. It's the intersection between Transformers and Star Wars in the War Chronicles universe. Like those classes, the intersection of the sciences and humanities. You know, everyone's got to take a class like that in college. Prince Productions, I'm not either. I get you, Prince. I've only seen all the way through some Mandalorian, some Clone Wars as a kid. That is okay. You're going to see a lot of Star Wars clips tonight. I'm not going to play too much of them because I don't want the mouse to take care of me. Take me out on stream. So I'm going to try not to play too much of the clips. Right now, I'm tired because of school and not getting a lot of time to do stop motion. That's fair, man. Absolute cinema. I managed to watch all the films in one day. OG sequel trilogies, Rogue One, and Solo. Wow. Holy moly. CJ, I do know the memes. Phoenix slice. Boom, the Phoenix hath arisen. Phoenix, did you finally make it? Okay, college semester almost over and I can start on Origins of Shockwave. Ooh. Because come on, I'm uneducated, not uncultured. Rodimus, right. Yo, what's up, Rodimus? All right, chat. Well, we are going to move over. I'm going to close this tab. And I'm going to say...
This is where the fun begins.
There we go. So this is the playlist of all of the War Chronicles videos we are going to be going through and all the Star Wars references that lie in them. But for a second, I just want to talk about the overarching influence of Star Wars on the Transformers War Chronicles universe and how this would all not be here if I didn't watch Star Wars. So I watched Star Wars starting at 2 years old. My dad was a big fan, and he wanted me to know the joy that he had as young as I could. So I watched the original trilogy at 2 years old. When I was a little older, I watched the prequel trilogy, which I really enjoyed, followed by Clone Wars, which further cemented my love of the prequel trilogy. The sequels came and went. There was some good stuff throughout all of them. I can't say I enjoyed them fully as a trilogy the way I did the first three, but they had their moments. And as an adult, I can definitely see where my kid brain was kind of blinded by the coolness of things that happened in the sequel trilogy that didn't have much impact on me later. But I remember, sitting on the floor in front of the TV, just like watching Attack of the Clones or the newest episode of Clone Wars, and just being completely mesmerized by everything. So that was my first love as far as sci-fi franchises go. And honestly, there's a lot of themes that I've taken from Star Wars that have kind of just been carried with me, like in all of my creative pursuits, particularly in the War Chronicles universe. Uh, the theme of the original trilogy is sort of about hope and mercy and love. And then the prequel trilogy is kind of themes of pride and tragedy and sort of a what would you do if you made a different choice type of vibe. And not really sure what the themes of the sequel trilogy were per se. And I'm not trying to deliberately dump on the sequel trilogy. I genuinely don't remember any overarching themes to the trilogy I can think of. But Star Wars definitely has a lot of tropes and a lot of sort of like themes that I enjoy incorporating into the War Chronicles universe. One of the places you can clearly see it is Praxis Run and Wrecker's Penance. The main characters believe in an idea of mercy that not all of their other characters believe, which is the core part of Luke Skywalker's journey to defeating the Emperor. Because at the end of the day, it's mercy that caused him to spare Vader, and then Vader kills the Emperor. So that's kind of one of the core themes of the War Chronicles universe that crept its way in from the Star Wars original trilogy. And then the tragedy element, I think a lot of it comes from the prequels. The prequels, by virtue of being prequels, are very doomed by the narrative type of story. It's a type of story where you know what's going to happen and you know it's not going to be pretty. You watch it anyway, hoping it's a different outcome. But at the end of the day, these characters are going to end up in radically different places. But some of the beauty is in the tragedy and how it all connects together in one big universe. So let me catch up with the chat because I just rambled for a bit. Hell yeah. Yes, Obi-Wan, my beloved. We love you, Space Jesus. Nazgul's real Jesus. Definitely awesome. I'm a Mario fan, but also Transformers. Yeah, I can see you got a Mario PFP. I watched Star Wars, The Clone Wars, Original Trilogy, Bad Batch, and Rebels. Ooh, nice. Oh, the thought of Baby Crotty makes my heart smile. I used to watch Clones with my dad when it was on Disney when it was released live. Yeah, Disney XD or Cartoon Network, depending on where you watched it. Anakin was my favorite Obi-Wan. Clone Wars Obi-Wan made me love his character even more. I agree, I love Clone Wars Obi-Wan. Never watched the movies or the shows. Need to rewatch Star Wars at some point. You do. You do. You really do. Should do like a Discord like Star Wars night at some point, to be honest. I couldn't do it on YouTube before the mouse comes for me, but Discord, I have a workaround to try and stream over Discord, like in a chat room. So we should think about that. Aw, you talking about this makes me think of nostalgia animation I made recently, and now it makes me want to make one for you. Well, thank you. Have you ever seen like the little like punk rocker like animations where it's like it's always been the such and such character and it's like little kid you surrounded by all the characters you grew up loving? Like that would be me, but like surrounded by like Star Wars characters. Captain Rex is the GOAT. Captain Rex is absolutely goated. TBH, my brother put Star Wars music on top volume when he was throwing a party while I was fishing in peace. Honestly, peak party music. Shit, Captain, not Star Trek. Nope, not Star Trek. I've watched some Star Trek. I enjoy the Strange New Worlds show. I enjoy the Chris Pine reboot. And that's about all I can say about Star Trek. Sadly, can't stay long. Hope stream goes well, Cronny. I'll get some rest, Rodimus. Hey, Daniel, what's up? Sent sparkles for 2 jewels. Wait, is that like a stream thing? I don't know what a sparkle or a jewel is. I'm gonna assume it's a good thing. The message of the sequel trilogy was have a plan. That and don't rely on a mystery box. I have to say, War on Sparks of War was a very good film, emotional. How long did it take to make? Well, the script took over 2 years to refine. The execution of it was honestly was honestly like 3 months of work. I was fortunate to have some free time in like the month of February, I think. But that took like 3 months of work and then like an additional couple of weeks on post production. Records Penance Part 2, I am actively working on. The fight scene I'm working on is kicking my butt, but I will not let it deter me. Let's see. Yeah, that's the wrong button. But, let me see. I'll be back real quick. Will do. May the 4th be with you, Cronny. Hey, Shocktimus. Always love to see that gap bridge between Star Wars and Transformers anyway. Phoenix, may the 4th be with y'all. Absolutely. Who's going to be the Titan, the first Titan in stop motion and like in action, like Fortress Maximus? You know, I haven't figured that out yet, so I'll let you know when I figure that out. Twice 26. Yo, how's everything? Hey, what's up, Twice 26? Random Dice Studio. I love Star Wars for real. Same. Daniel, barely watched Star Wars, only watched The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. I think you need to see more Star Wars, honestly. Like, no, well, a little bit of shade towards the sequel trilogy, but there's a lot better Star Wars out there. I definitely gotta finish Clone Wars, and Discord sounds like a great idea. Enjoy what you've done with your channel and everything. Really helped me build up my Transformers collection. Oh, thank you, Twice. Glad to inspire. Phoenix, vibing on Discord right now. LMAO. Yes, that's what I mean. My favorite thing to do with Legos make Lego Star Wars MOCs. Yeah, I do love making those. I'm not great at building Legos, but I do enjoy like making those from time to time. Amount of lightsaber battles I've had on couches all the way up into high school. Oh yeah. 2A like to go for the fingers so he could disarm me of my lightsaber. My first Star Wars movie was Attack of the Clones. I thought that was the live action version of Clone Wars and I was so confused. Technically it is. I mean, if you think about it, it's the live action intro to the Clone Wars. Hi and hi. Send star for 2 jewels. Oh, cool. Yes, it could be a stream thing. There was one like scene where Darth Vader was on rage, soldiers open fire, Vader massacres them but with Megatron. I can't remember where it was from. I don't think I've seen that one. You may have to send a link for it. I've just been working on a lot of ideas, build my stop motion series and remastering it. Ooh, very cool. I was crazy as a mess fan of a lot of things, Star Wars fan, Ninjago, Transformers. I like a lot of things and I like when other content creators feel the same. There is a lot of overlap. Daniel, maybe I would, but I kind of been left behind on some movies. That's fair. But hey, at least you know the trilogies are already out, so you can go ahead. Mario and Luigi's former voice actor was in Star Wars. You'll have to remind me which one that was. I don't remember who Star Wars. Yeah, the scene is from Rogue One. That's correct, Twice. Yeah, I actually do have that clip squirreled away for later once we start on the references portion. Which droid do you think fits what Transformer for me? That's a good question. It's a great Star Wars movie. Rebel shooting at Darth Vader's Rogue One. Bumblebee is BB-8 and Wheeljack is R2. That's fair. That's fair, honestly. All right, so now that we've done a little rambling, a little chat reading, we are going to dive right into explicit and implicit references across the War Chronicles movies. So we are going to start with the very first one, Praxis Run. So let's see. We got the prologue, approaching the bridge. It's going to take a second to load. Bridge controls there. It makes a little bridge there. So that is reference number 1. I'm going to go over to my reference document here. And I'm going to go right over in here. So this is from the Clone Wars, I believe it's season 1, the Siege of Ryloth. It's going to take another second to load. But in the Siege of Ryloth, there is a point where they're taking the capital city and they're on like this hologram projected bridge here.
Oh well, too bad for them.
And see, they shut it down with the little switch there so they can turn the bridge on and off at will. And that was a major plot point throughout the episode, is that they have to figure out how to activate the bridge and how to deactivate it as necessary. So that would be reference number 1. Explicit content is crazy. Prince, don't play like that. Don't play like that. Come on, man. Seeing the way your content has got so fluid over the years is insane. Thank you. I just want to take a smidge of inspiration, like from the Jedi, for the Knight in my series. Never Told You Christmas 2025 got a lot of legacy figures. Oh, that's cool. Liberty on Ryloth, the classic. Ha! I knew that scene in Praxis was familiar. Set sparkles for 2 jewels. Hee hee, clever. Yeah, that's our first clip there. And then we're going to move on to the death of Pipes. Once we get past the...
Easy, friend. What is your name?
So yeah, we see Pipes here, like, coughing and dying and giving like a last piece of crucial information to Optimus. Now this was partially inspired by this scene. So this is from the Carnage of Krell episode in season 4 of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Basically, Captain Rex goes to the dying commander of a platoon.
Tell me,
here.
who gave you the orders to attack us?
It was General Krell. He sent us to these coordinates to stop the enemy.
In the instance of this episode, the information he gave was that their general manipulated both of them into a friendly fire incident because he was secretly working for the other side. So that was a fun little like mini reference I wanted to throw in there. Even though this scene serves a different purpose, that is where that reference came from here. I wanted to ask Armada, Red Alert, your definitive version of him. I say definitive because I like how he looks, although I've never watched Armada. Oh, Pipes. Didn't Pipes get crushed by someone? Yes, I don't remember who, in IDW. Waxer's death was traumatizing for me when it aired as a kid. What a scene. Oh, yeah. Waxer's death's extremely sad. Bro, why am I sad? I swear Clone Deaths and Clone Wars so emotional makes me cry. For real, though. Clone Deaths inspire me to make more randos die in the War Chronicles universe for the plot. Let's see. And I have one more reference in, so we're just gonna scrub over here.
The refugees and get them out.
But Air Razor.
Optimus, let it go.
I've waited a long time to kill you for the glory of Lord Megatron.
We take him together.
And that one is a reference to Revenge of the Sith. Here we go. This is the first live-action movie reference. So there's a lot of Clone Wars references, for sure.
This time we will do it together. I was about to say that.
That was really low, actually. Let's see.
This time we will do it together. I was about to say that.
Kind of that, like planning, like it's an almost banter, but it's an understanding that neither of them are going to rush in and take this guy on head on, which if you watch Attack of the Clones, then you know that in facing Count Dooku previously, Obi-Wan said they were going to take Dooku together, and Anakin ran in and got blasted with lightning. So, his little hand grab for Alita. We're not gonna lie, Star Wars: The Clone Wars just knows how to make character death sad. I know, it is my greatest inspiration. Optimus Decepticons are a specialty. Yeah, so that was a fun little treat. That is all of our references in Praxis Run, which honestly it's showing its age a little bit, but I'm honestly glad that it was a good jumping off point for this channel. and it definitely gave me like a good way to explore where I wanted to go with this, if I just wanted this to be a one-off film or if I wanted this to be something bigger. Obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, we all know it became something bigger. So this was Baby Cronny's first movie. And next we're going to go to Flying Blind. And we are going to scrub our way to where Alita unknowingly joins the Seekers in bombing this Autobot outpost. And then at this point, she sees a corpse and realizes it's an Autobot. They were killing their own side. So naturally, it's time to go back to Umbara. We're going to scrub a little further back into the friendly fire incident in the Clone Wars episode Carnage of Krell. Rex sees a dead body and goes to investigate it.
What?
And he realizes that's his own guy. He's been manipulated into killing his own men, just as Alita has. Let's catch up on the chat. So there's scene, Rise of the Jedi, Decepticon to help the Autobots escape, and then allows to be shot, knowing that so they wouldn't know. Honestly, there could be. Hashtag Alita deserved better. Alita is getting lots of like prequel character development. I feel like some world would say Obi-Wan assassin realized if I cut off my leg and hit you with it, if I hit in air kicking you feels very Obi-Wan. That's something that Anakin and Obi-Wan would discuss together, definitely. Unlike an Earthrise, traumatizing scene where Lita saw them. I see the aging a bit with the fire effects. Yeah. Oof, this animation still hurts. She's been deceived, bruh. Remember that arc? El Pongrel, worst Jedi in the Clone Wars. Umbara is such a wellspring of ideas to adapt because it's so sad. So I had to adapt it. Time to go back to Umbara and Thousand Year Stare intensifies. I remember that episode was tense. I swear, saddest death in Clone Wars was Fives. Especially because that Fives won't uncover Order 66 no matter how hard he tries, because it's still going to happen. Doomed by the narrative. But that is the only Star Wars reference that we have here in Flying Blind is related to the Umbara arc. So next we are moving to Autovember Day 15. And this one is very explicitly a Star Wars reference. There's not a lot of... So this is 2024's Autovember. And quite frankly, there's not a ton of references in Autovember 2024, just because this was the first Autovember. I'm kind of farting around. I'm trying a couple of new, silent animations. I definitely feel like I got my sea legs under me in Autovember 2025, and I streamlined the process a bit as well for the hosting of the event itself, which I'm going to start working on concepting Autovember 2026. I think I might make some big changes. Big changes to Autovember. I think it'll still be Autovember, but sent a thumbs up for 10 joules. Cool, thank you. I kind of want a more in-depth film on Alita doing that to her own soldiers. Yes, we must explore Le Trauma. Wonder if Windblade has any Star Wars references. Well, I guess we'll have to find out, won't we? But we'll start with Day 15, Darkness. So those of you that have watched this film probably caught this already. We are going to go to that Rogue One scene we were talking about earlier. Once it loads. It does take a moment because of the ad blocker. Yep, that is the direct inspiration for Autovember 2024, day 15. That one was very obvious. I'll eat the darkness. Bro, you would eat everything. You're gonna become like queso. Kind of inspired by your Autovember stuff. Maybe start a month out with my own if that's okay. Hey, yeah, go for it. It would be an obvious with that one, Cronny. Oh, definitely. Darth Vader goes Doom Eternal, but it's hard. Nothing like a reveal of iconic colors from pitch black darkness. Yeah. Let's see. Purple sent a gift, a clapping seal. Well, thank you, Purple. Let's see. So now we're going to close the tab, and next we go to the good old Wrecker's Penance. So we're going to scrub to Chromia and Springer.
Alright, stop!
Nervous?
Frag, no! I wanted to do this my whole life, You okay? I'm kind of nervous.
So that, and in general, the inspiration for Chromia and Springer is somewhat Master and Padawan related in that way. So we are going to go to this clip from Attack of the Clones.
You're sweating. Relax. Take a deep breath.
Well, that was a very low.
You're
Let's see if I turned it up a little bit.
You're sweating. Relax. Take a deep breath.
But that is a small taste of. Man, I love stuff like this. Well, thank you for the super chat. Hang on one second. What? Hold up. I am flattered, my guy. Let's see who sent the super chat? Random Dice. Man, I love this stuff. Well, thank you very much, Random Dice. I really appreciate the donation. Let's see. This is the one I was trying to talk about. Cronny, if you haven't seen the video of Golden Retriever reacting to this scene, it's hilarious because he gets spooked. Puppet knows power when he sees it. Oh, I have the one where the Golden Retriever is scared of Darth Vader. Forgot how stubborn Impactor was. Not gonna lie, Wrecker's Penance is peak. Thank you. Hope we see more Dinobots. Oh, you will. 2-8 just got Snarl finally. So we've completed most of the Dinobots. Wreckers always gave off Suicide Squad vibes to me. They do. They have a bit of a Suicide Squad vibe. Not me having to give Jack pep talks like, stop panicking, you're an accomplished and kind person, babe. But yeah, that was a little mini reference there. Mainly because the dynamic of Chromia and Springer is kind of Master Padawan-esque. Like you kind of like take like a kid basically who gets adopted by someone who trains them. And I wouldn't say it's Obi-Wan and Anakin necessarily, because I think it's more of like older brother raising his little brother type of situation, especially because of how much older Anakin was at the time. Not gonna lie, you developed Javelin more than the entire IDW comics. The entire reason I did that was because Javelin has nothing really going for her in IDW. So, Javelin really has nothing going for her in IDW. So, honestly, I felt like, hey, that's honestly that's prime target. So let's see. We can go back to see what's my other reference. Aha. So this one's a little on the nose. So let's see.
This is your next assignment. You will be infiltrating the Decepticon Tower Lab southwest of the Praxian Rust Flats. Your objective is twofold. First, you must neutralize the Decepticon Chief Science Officer, Shockwave.
So obviously this is a hologram. Obviously, this is inspired by Star Wars holograms. Once it loads. I notice this is a big theme.
I seem to have found it.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the...
Yeah, that is the first instance of a hologram in Star Wars. Obviously, even Star Wars has come a long way in developing their hologram stuff. But, let's see. See what the chat is saying. Forget that one scene, no witnesses, where Springer's like, what the fuck? And then Chromia says language. Yeah. I'm more relaxed when my brother's obsessed with Star Wars and throwing really loud parties chaotically. Well, sounds like you need to tell your bro to turn the music down a bit. Crony, are you sure you want Black Arachnia and Arachnia to be different characters? Because I have an idea where Shockdo captures Arachnia and turns her into Black Arachnia. No, they're different. They are sisters, but they're different. Mainly because I have different arcs in mind for them. Entirely different arcs. It was funny. Geez, Springer technically being Chromia's first and only kid, and her arc is so tragic and beautiful. My heart. Prince, that's clever. My Javelin had a fake out death, and she hasn't appeared in any film since. I know. What's up with that, Ironhide? Alright, let's see. So I believe that was all of the references for Wrecker's Penance. So we are going to move on to Blade of the Demon. So this one has a bit of a deep cut in here. So see if I'm finding it correctly. Alright, so we're gonna go through Filch, like basically forewarning Bludgeon's arrival. So this is based on... So I'm going to give a little background to this. So in an episode of the Clone Wars, Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan visit a planet that's basically the embodiment of the Force. And so the father is the embodiment of the Force in all its balance. The son is the embodiment of the dark. The daughter is the embodiment of the life. When Ahsoka was killed, the daughter, the embodiment of the light, gave her life force so that Ahsoka would live. And so the daughter's owl, Morai, was forever tied to Ahsoka. Now, we're not sure entirely why this is, but that seems to be the connection point. And so, let's see. We're going to click through here. And it's going to load as it does. You see the owl. And then she shows up. So Morai foreshadows Ahsoka's arrival by flying in the air just before she's about to appear. In the same way, Filch heralds Bludgeon's arrival flying overhead. So we're going to check back in with the chat. Sisters, interesting. RC with her father-like figure. Thus we get some crazy fluid combat animation. I know, I still don't know how I did as well as I did with the combat. Chronicles stream is lagging a bit, maybe lower videos to 720p. Really? Morai is your inspiration? That's correct, Phoenix. Morai is my inspiration. Okay, yeah, auto quality. Okay, it is on auto quality. If the stream is lagging, I'll just take a quick pit stop real quick. I do like Star Wars. I'm setting it up for my battle on Velocitron. That's why she doesn't appear, but she will, I promise. Make it so, Ironhide. Make it so. But yeah, no, Filch heralding Bludgeon is similar, although more ominous than Morai heralding Ahsoka. Morai heralding Ahsoka usually is a good thing. Usually means like the rebels are about to receive a hand, or it means Ahsoka's alive. In like the instances where she's had a fake out death. But in this instance, Filch heralds Bludgeon's coming as sort of like a fear thing. Like if you see Filch above you, you know you're screwed because Bludgeon's after you. And then we have one more reference. Let's see here, she spares Filch, so we'll just go on a little talk here for a second about how, once again, the hero in this instance, RC, is defined by the fact that she shows mercy, which, again, we talked about the influence of Star Wars on my perspectives on mercy as a narrative tool, and specifically as a narrative tool for heroes. And again, this is RC exercising mercy, which then...
Attachment clouds your judgment, Akama-chan.
Which prompts Bludgeon to chastise her about attachment. So, if you're already a Star Wars fan, you may know where I'm going with this one.
Attachment is forbidden. Possession is forbidden. Compassion, which I would define as unconditional love, is central to a Jedi's life.
So that is basically Anakin defining how he sees the Jedi Code, what he means as far as attachment goes, and we see that Jedi forbid attachment because they think it distracts them and that it makes you a slave to your own emotions and it makes you possessive of people. Hence why attachment and possession are forbidden as a Jedi. And we see kind of a twisted variant of this philosophy in Bludgeon, except he believes attachment is a weakness in the pursuit of one's goals, despite the fact that he is attached to Filch, so he is obviously a bit of a hypocrite. But we see in this way, Bludgeon is like a dark Jedi master, sort of chastising his apprentice about attachments. So that was the second reference in Blade of the Demon. We go again to catch up with the chat. I will add Javelin to projects soon. Do so, Prince. I would love to see her in your projects. Well, I would follow my Raven wife wherever she took me. Can't blame Bludgeon as a lady who loves shiny things and will attack anyone who oppresses her or her love. More power to them. These days I feel washed up in ideas. I don't remember the last time I have ideas for projects. Well, I honestly get a lot of the ideas I have by just consuming other media. And so I get a lot of ideas from watching movies. Like, obviously, I get a lot of ideas from watching movies like Star Wars. I watch a lot of classic movies. I love to dissect classic movie tropes, compare them with modern movies, and kind of use that as a stepping off point to make my stuff. I also enjoy adapting portions from certain movies and or other Transformers media in order to make them fit within the War Chronicles universe, sort of pushing and pulling it like a Play-Doh until I have it where I want it. That's kind of where I pull my ideas together from. Daniel, will we ever get to see the Sea of Rust, aka the Insecticons' home? So Shockwave's tower in Wrecker's Penance does border on the Sea of Rust, and you can see that in terms of the air particles, the dust blowing around. Additionally, Praxis in Praxis Run also borders on the Sea of Rust. Hence why Ultra Magnus instructed that they keep the tower intact when they took Shockwave down, because it's a foothold to take back Praxis. Basically, if you control Praxis and if you control Shockwave's tower, you essentially have the fortifications to control access in and around the Sea of Rust. So we've gotten Sea of Rust adjacent material. The Insecticons, I have different plans for, and I don't know if they'll be in the Sea of Rust or not. AKA Shark. Gonna go now. See ya. Night Purple, thank you so much. See. Yeah, I guess RC was a little conflicted. See you, Purple. Birthday on Wednesday. I'm so excited. Hope I get a Legacy G-Axis figure. Oh, happy early birthday, Nioxide. Best villains are all hypocrites, though. They are. This is true. Mostly because a lot of people who have the cognitive dissonance required to be villains are all hypocritical to some extent. No, I'd love to make a Transformers thing based off the Citadel arc. Do it! Do it. I would love to see a Citadel arc-based Transformers thing. Wait, remember I asked you about RID Scourge being your primary figure? Does that mean he's your Nemesis Prime clone? That is correct. Although he has now gotten out of scale with Optimus, now that Optimus is 86, so I'm debating whether I should get, the bootleg repaint of the 86 Optimus, or if I should use the TFA Nemesis Prime now. Hello, Commander. Hey, what's up, Ali? This is me. Want to make a script for Star Raiders so I can start using Filch. Please do. I see. A lot of lore I'm learning. What just happened? I've been watching a lot of Transformers Cybertron, his classic Transformers anime. Ooh, that's going to be awesome. Alright, so that was all of our references in Blade of the Demon. So we're now going to move on to Power Play. And Power Play is going to have a lot of links to Sparks of War in that way. Because obviously I said the Sparks of War script was 2 years in the making. And so a lot of the seeds of the ideas I had were already in place when I began to make Power Play. And so you can't have one without the other, so they're kind of two halves of the same coin here.
In time. That is a fault of mine. I must be able to defend against any assassins.
So we're just going to kind of scrub through this. Scrub through this a little bit.
Moves and I know yours. Surprise me.
And then we're going to get to the final beat down here.
Yes, this is more like it.
And we see kind of this sort of abusive encouragement combined with a lack of mercy in Megatron. And so we are going to go to this episode from Clone Wars Season 5. This is the final episode of the Maul Shadow Collective arc, where he comes up against Palpatine. He's just killed his brother, Savage Opress.
Have mercy. Please, please.
There is no mercy. Do not worry. I'm not going to kill you.
And so we see that Palpatine has this sort of relationship with Maul, as evident in this episode. And while I haven't finished watching Maul Shadow Lord yet, I don't know if everyone has. I've only started on the first episode because I just got Disney Plus back for the express purpose of Maul Shadow Lord. So I just watched the first episode, and kind of what I've been understanding from chatter online is that they expand on this idea that Sidious's training of Maul was a very pain-based training. It was kind of this idea of like this sort of like twisted encouragement mixed with a lot of punishment and a big lack of mercy. So we see that this is how Palpatine trains Maul. But then we see when Palpatine starts setting his sights on Anakin, we see something a little different. We see something that's more smooth, it's more affirming as he starts to bring Anakin into his grasp. And so kind of the two sides of Palpatine are represented in how Megatron treats Starscream and Orion Pax. So we'll get more into the Orion Pax side of that as we head into the Sparks of War references. But for now, we are going to check back in with Le Chat. So let's see. Howdy. Hey, Maverick, how you doing? Let's see. Never buy bootlegs. Okay, that's fair, honestly. That's why I've been wondering about it. 1 second. Let's see. AS Nemesis supposedly good. Haven't bothered with it. Oh boy, Starscream trying to fight Megatron. Oh, congratulations, Ali. You are officially the first member of the War Chronicles fandom. You are now a War Chronicles lieutenant, and you now have access to your special stickers, I see, as well. Let's see. Trying to catch up with the chat here. Love the wing movement Starscream does. Really adds to his character, and the Megatron VA slays. Just J-Motion. J-Motion always slays. Did your Bumblebee Megatron have a scratch on the forehead? He does have a scratch on the forehead. For whatever reason, his paint chipped at the ridge on the top of his helm. Guess who just became a member of the channel, man? Well, thank you very much, Ali. I appreciate it. Hey, Mav. To be honest, I'm busy racing my enemies. I really want to take this scene seriously, but I've seen it in too many memes. Dooku training Savage in Season 3 is another good connection with the abusive training. You know, I don't watch that arc a lot, so I might need to go back and do that. Is Prime Smokescreen the Elite Guard in the original series still a rookie? Will Galvatron be his own character? I think Galvatron will be his own character. Prime Smokescreen I have plans for, but I'm not going to say them at the moment, because I think that'd be spoilers. Maverick, such a good reference. Thank you. Well, that zapping is just ouch. The old, if I put you in enough pain, you'll improve enough to make sure it never happens again. Yep. So the rescue bots exist in your universe. If so, is Chase an officer of Praxis? Not really. Mostly because I only have Chase, so he'd probably just end up being like a cop bot. Like, I'm not super emotionally attached to rescue bots. I think it's a sweet little show, but I'm not super emotionally attached to it. Let's see. Hello, don't mind the user. It was a dare for $30. What the heck? I think if it was a reference from any show, it'd be an anime Attack on Titan. Pretty good, my dear. Hope you're having a great day. Hi, Striker, what's up? Shock, Miss and Mav in the same chat. Jeez, it's a good day. Ooh, once I get a job paycheck, I'm gonna become a top lieutenant so freaking fast you don't even know it. Well, thank you, CJ. Yeah, I'm not really bothered by it unless it's something visual. I would take on Rescue Bots, but it has no right to be as good as it is. Let's see. Striker Prime, howdy. What is up, Striker? Alright, let's see. So, I need to close all of these tabs from my reference videos. But that is our reference on Power Play, and we'll see that expanded into more. And then Brains of Brawn, there's not necessarily an explicit reference to Star Wars in Brains of Brawn. But I will just say right off the bat, as I watch Clone Wars in my very formative years, and I'm also a woman, so I don't intuitively understand the kind of brotherhood that men have necessarily, except they're clones. Clones are a great window into the brotherhood that men have and the way they banter. And so, kind of the banter of Bulkhead and Wheeljack in this way, sort of the cynic combined with the like kind of gentle giant type vibe, comes from Waxter and Boyle, the 212th Battalion's official duo. They debuted in the Ryloth arc during the ground campaign.
Come on. Look, she doesn't even want to go. Little monster
Yeah, see, this guy, Boyle here, would definitely be Wheeljack.
was fine before we came along, so let's move.
Axter would definitely be Bulkhead. In this instance, they're deciding whether or not they want to adopt a child, basically. And honestly, that's a situation I would love to put Bulkhead and Wheeljack in as sort of like a two men and a baby type thing. But this is not an explicit Star Wars reference, 1-to-1 from Brains and Brawn, but in general, a lot of my understanding of male friendship and brotherhood was introduced to me by these clone duos like Waxer and Boyle and Fives and Echo. So not much to say on that, as that's not a super reference necessarily. But let's check up with the chat real quick. Striker, appreciate it. I'm trying to get Prime Cliff. That'll be my definitive one. Nice. My man. See if I can remember. It was a while ago. I thought my Legacy knockout had a crack in his clear plastic. It was just a mold mark. Striker, exams suck. Honestly, mood. I'm glad I'm past that. Dice. Ooh, that. I see you. Don't buy Heat Waves. The worst Voyager I own. Okay, will do. Any update on Records Pendants Part 2, ma'am? working slowly but steadily, but I can't give you any definitive updates without spoiling a major part of it, because there's a lot of spoilers in the back half of part 2, and I want you guys to enjoy it. I love when Vortex threw his rotor. I'm surprised it punctured Bulkhead. Yeah, honestly, that kind of came in as like a last minute idea. I was like, I know Bulkhead needs to get hit. He needs to get wounded. It's like, I don't know who's gonna wound him, if he just catches a stray bullet or what. But we'd recently gotten the Vortex figure, and I was like, what the heck? We're gonna make this a cool thing. And like, I'll use the stand to make it fly. Thank you. As someone who has mostly guy friends, I consider brothers definitely different from sisterhoods. A fantastic relationship and pack to have. Tech and Wrecker can work too. My Bad Batch Kings. Wrecker annoys the crud out of me, honestly. I don't know what it is about him. He's just like so. Like, I don't know. He just feels like he's too dumb. Baxter and Boyle were amazing. What in the hell is this? This baby we found in the trash. Exactly. I'm excited for the new Vector Prime. Same. Heatwave's legit disappointing. I think I'm gonna go because I'm really tired. Hey, no worries, Super Gamer. Rest up and start getting ideas for your stop motion, man. So that is Brains and Brawn. So we're gonna go to Left in the Dust. And we're gonna go. Where does he sell his child into slavery?
Kid. Look, I don't carry cash. And here's your new recruit.
Wait, no!
I guess you'll do. Get on out of here.
Junkie! Dad!
So yeah, that. There's actually a Star Wars reference for that. So in The Force Awakens, I had a very different interpretation of the scene than knowing what I know now from The Rise of Skywalker, which I don't even think was the original plan at all, I'll be entirely honest with you. But here we go, we're going to The Force Awakens. This is Rey remembering her childhood.
Quiet, girl.
And see, we have that starship there. So basically, when I first watched The Force Awakens, and I saw this little flashback of Rey in her childhood, basically being held by the junk dealer, Unkar Plutt, and then the ship taking off while she's screaming to come back. I was like, oh my gosh, her parents sold her into slavery. So now, like, looking back on The Rise of Skywalker, I think what they're basically implying is her parents sold her into slavery, but it was to hide her from Palpatine. But I was like, oh my gosh, they sold this girl into slavery and dipped. So that became the basis for Left in the Dust, where Junkie basically sold Hot Rod to the Decepticons and left. And then obviously Motormaster would be the Unkar Plutt saying, "You're a quiet girl." Not a girl, but you know what I'm saying. But that was the basis for this whole thing. Hot Rod's emotional trauma was based on the sequels. Let's see. That's fair. Wrecker's a big old teddy bear. Understandable. Don't want to spoil anything just from a trailer. Oh, Chunky. Don't own a Bulkhead, sadly. Or a Hound or a Cliff Jumper. Darn, man. You're a son of a glitch. Never forget how amazing this voice performance was. Truly. Shout out Steelstorm Studios, the voice actor for Hot Rod. It's the deadbeat dad. Yeah, Phoenix, it's the deadbeat dad. I wonder who voices him. The sequels had no plan. Wait, what does that make Wreck-Gar then? Is he much nicer? Does he act like the animated one? You know, I don't own a Wreck-Gar, so I couldn't tell you what he'd be doing in the War Chronicles universe. Oh gosh, that scene really scared me. Yeah, they made The Force Awakens, they made money, they made The Last Jedi, ruined the franchise for a lot of people. In Rise of Skywalker, they tried to backtrack and it didn't work. Emotional damage. Probably gonna start scripting the Citadel breakout. Citadel be Dark Mountain or Strax's Sport. Yeah. What's been the hardest shot you've tried to replicate? Oof. Like, shot for shot? Probably Autovember 25, Day 13 Arena, where Megatron does the backhand uppercut combo against Overlord, which that was a shot inspired by the 1-2 combo that Optimus hit on Megatron in Season 3 of Transformers Prime when he first came back with his new jetpack, and he basically busted onto the scene to save Ultra Magnus. He hit Megatron with a backhand uppercut combo. That was really hard to replicate, and it came out super well. Man, Rey had so much potential as she became Mary Sue. Yeah, honestly, Force Awakens Rey, I like differently than I like the rest of the movies Rey. Just realized you're using G2 Breakdown. Fun fact, I have one that's going to be a female called Boomerang. Ooh, interesting. I will stay and listen. The scene where they kicked Hot Rod down reminded me of that one anime clip. Oh, I've seen the memes for that. I've never seen the anime for it, but I've seen the memes for that. Makes me wonder if Barricade was also a Praxis officer, but he tends to take things a bit too far because he's sort of an enforcer. Yeah, I don't know if he'll be from Praxis. I know there's kind of like a Praxis like fanon thing where like all the people with door wings are from Praxis or whatever, like Prowl's from Praxis. I don't know if that's the direction I want to go with Praxis necessarily, but would anyone believe me if I said I didn't grow up with Star Wars and don't have an attachment to this franchise? Boo, Stryker. Boo. I believe you. I never watched it. I believe it. I grew up and didn't have an attachment to Sonic. Honestly, that's fair. I didn't have much of an attachment to Sonic. But I also didn't really live in a Sonic space, for the most part. Like growing up, like I only tangentially knew who things like Sonic and Pikachu were. Like I was more in my Star Wars bubble, my Transformers bubble, my Marvel bubble, my DC bubble. Wait, is G2 Breakdown named this way Breakdown with an AKE? No, I don't think so. I think it's Breakdown like a mental breakdown. Don't know why that was the first one I went to, but mental breakdown. All right, and we're going to go to Autovember Day 1, Brave, and the reference is not where you expect it to be. Like, I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, oh, Cronny, we have another reference in the dynamic between Megatron and Starscream. Wrong.
So polished. So
We have
adorned.
This is the reference. And this is a reference in the second episode of Clone Wars Season 2, where Cad Bane captures Ahsoka Tano to use as bait to get Anakin Skywalker to give up the holocron. But while she is captured, bear with me 1 second.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. Those binders have been specially designed for Jedi.
He rips out her beaded Padawan braid, sort of as like a humiliation of his prisoner. And we see the same thing with Megatron snapping off Windblade's little decorative fan. But it's a small reference. But I very distinctly remember watching this episode arc, and I thought Cad Bane was the coolest guy ever. Growing up is realizing he was decently cool. He wasn't the coolest guy ever. But yeah, that's the reference. Let's catch up with the chat real quick. Sonic is the whole reason I started drawing that along with My Little Pony and Five Nights at Freddy's. The only movies I like from this franchise are the OG trilogy. That's fair. The prequels do have some cringeness to them, but overall as a trilogy, I love them a lot more than I love the sequels. The holy trinity of creative middle school cringe. That's wild, CJ. No cap, I started getting into Sonic last month. Breakdown means paranoid. Let's go. I have attachments to Mario and Transformers. I found Sonic. Boom. Bro snatched part of my wig. I'm too scared to take off Windblade's golden crown thingy. I've taken it off so many times. Like, I don't even know how it still stays. Hoping to see Predacon Fusor Cowboy in a stop motion, if you know who I'm talking about. I'm sorry, a what now? Wearing my fresh cut, for real, for real. To me, I'm not a fan of Sonic, but Sega in general. Oh, that's cool. I suppose some seriously catchy music. Windblade, I need her soon. Cronny, do you watch Star Wars before you start writing scripts? I just watch Star Wars all the time, man. It can be before I'm writing scripts, while I'm writing scripts. It can be conscious or unconscious influence that Star Wars has on me. Some of this is unconscious, realized in hindsight, and a lot of this is deliberate reference placement. Cad Bane's definitely quite cool. Some cringeness. How I feel like I'm gonna break it. You just gotta pull it straight out like you're pulling a plug. The Scorpion dude. Quick Strike. Oh, I never found a Quick Strike, actually. That's like the one guy I haven't like found at any of my stores. And then we are going to day 4. Now this one is not a word for word reference,
combat. Do you accept my challenge? Challenge accepted.
Now we are going to go to this one. So the wording is a little different. We're talking challenge accepted in Autovember day 4, as opposed to apology accepted, Captain Nita. But essentially it's the same thing. Where he kills him and then accepts what he was given here, an apology or a challenge.
Apology accepted, Captain Nita.
Which, honestly, very tough Vader scene. I love this scene as a kid. He's already killed him and he's like, yeah, apology accepted. Like, haha, screw you. Never watch stuff while scripting or drawing because I'm easily distracted by noises. I don't watch them so much while I'm writing. I'm just so inundated by, like, Star Wars and, like, watching it, like, on and off, like, putting it on in the background, that by the time I sit down to write a script, it's still fresh in my brain. Oh, this poor Steve. Most fun deluxe I own. I love Quick Strike or Freddy. Fool! Pain is my friend. Allow me to introduce you to it too. Inferno to Quick Strike. Mike, Johnny, whatever his name was. Wow, oh my gosh. Is that guard based off of Rick the Door Technician? No, it's not, actually. That would have been really cool, but no, Rick the Door Technician did not cross my mind when making Guard Ricky. I just literally pulled the name. I was watching, oh my gosh. It's not 16 Candles. I was watching that 80s movie Better Off Dead, and one of, like, the obnoxious kids, and his name is Ricky. And that's where I pulled the name from. Cold AF. The sarcasm is strong with this one. Gotta go. Bye, Payman. For me, I watch something like this. I've seen a second time, and I take notes the second time I watch it. This is something I imagine Fortnite Vader saying. Fortnite Vader has said some things. Remember Force Unleashed Starkiller unleashed an annihilation wave, turned every stormtrooper to dust, but Vader didn't even misstep. He shrugged off death itself. Hope you're being careful with Brawl when you complete Bruticus. Brawl has a combination ankle stress mark. Hope you followed that green peg. Yeah, he does take a little bit of struggle bus to get together. Shout out the GOAT, Rick the Door Technician, the real homie. Alright, so that is the reference. Autovember Day 4. Now we're going to talk Autovember Day 6, Secret. CJ's favorite thing to record in the world.
Truth. I've been hearing so many different things about your defection.
I'm in left with me.
Let's see. Where?
She's
right about
cozy up
here.
the Prime.
You shot her! Shot her! Starscream! I don't need to hear about social climbing from the bot who sold out his own side to him!
So yeah, that confrontation is based on, and y'all Star Wars nerds probably know where I'm going with this. I did give Windblade a little bit more agency because I think Padme is a bit dumb. Like, she's a brilliant woman, but she's got a blind spot here.
I don't know you anymore. Anakin, you're breaking my heart. You're going down a path I can't follow.
Except in this instance, Windblade, aka Padme, actually walked away because she has more self-respect than that, and is also not pregnant with Starscream's child. Like, because I can see that being a problem for Padme. Like, she's pregnant with his child, and she wants to leave, but at the same time, where is she gonna go? Like, that's still their kids. See. Catching up. I know. Sorry, went to the bathroom real quick. Screw you, Crony. JK, I still love this one. I'm proud of myself with this one. I don't pay attention to Fortnite. I wish I saw the whole thing happening. It seemed like a wild time to be a Vader fan. Windblade having an argument emotionally? Really? I knew it! I wonder if we ever get a part in this universe where we discover the indestructible spark. Yeah, I may have to explore that. To be fair, that's just everyone in the prequels except for Palpatine and Qui-Gon. That's fair. Granny, do you own a six-shot figure? I do. His knees are, like, shot. Like, they really suck, but I do have one. Ha! My gosh, a tiny Starscream running around. Oh boy, that'd be something else. CJ poured her heart and soul into that performance. Awesome. But yeah, the confrontation in general was inspired by this scene, except when Blade actually walked away at the end, because she has a bit more emotional intelligence than Padme does. So next we are going to go to Autovember Day 7 support. And we are going to scrub back to here. And if you're a prequels nerd like me, you already know that sound, but for those of you who don't know it, this is Jango Fett's seismic charge that he drops from his starship. It's a sonic bomb.
Seismic charges. Stand by.
It's from Attack of the Clones here. And it's essentially an atmospheric weapon that uses the sonic wave to destroy things in its path. And I decided to recycle that sound and use it for Soundwave's gun. By the I love Sparks of War. Yes, we will get to Sparks of War. We will dissect the many, many references in Sparks of War. Oh my lord, I forgot how bad some of those performances were in the prequels. CJ the Fox, smiley face, great googly moogly. It's cool Soundwave has the tentacles. That's where the sound effect comes from. Yes, the seismic charge from Jango Fett's starship in Attack of the Clones. Boba pulling out the seismic charge in Mando Season 2 had me losing my mind. Same though, Season 2 had so much good fan service. Alright, I must depart. Farewell, mi amigos. Good night, Phoenix. Have a good night. So that is my little reference in Autovember Day 7 support. Now we are going to go to Autovember Day 15, Disconnect. I'm actually going to scrub to... We're going to scrub past Sentinel's pinata body over here. The part where he takes a drink and starts dancing. Whee! And obviously this is really lazy dancing on my part, ignore that. But that was almost entirely inspired by this scene from Andor Season 2, where Mon Mothma, coming to terms with the things she's had to sacrifice to make the rebellion a reality, including marrying off her daughter so she gets financial access to fund the rebellion, she basically takes a shot and drunkenly dances. That would be Sentinel right there. Now we're going to scrub back to the chat. Crony bots, rise up and saber out. Phoenix, that sounds like something the RID 2015 Bumblebee would say when he's still trying to figure out his team's catchphrase. I still don't think rev up and roll out was quite what he was looking for. Is Rat Trap also with Starscream like an IDW? He is not. More on that later. Night, Phoenix. Party time. Your brother won't be in the stream, Cronny. No, Ali, he went to bed a little bit early tonight. Yes, this music and me being the bass drop. Niamos. Boogie. I love that we can see Knockout boogieing down. Oh, yes. Now I'm curious, what is Lockdown like? Is he his own faction? I imagine he's a bounty hunter that could work for either faction, although typically his interests align more with the Decepticons. You got a reference you want to buy some death sticks? Oh my gosh. Yes, that's a great reference to sneak in somewhere else. You want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell death sticks. I don't want to sell death sticks. You want to go home, rethink your life. I want to go home and rethink my life. Oh my gosh, RIDB. Yeah, that's that's just what it reminded me of like rise up and saber out. That feels like something RIDB would say. Alright, so now we're going to go to Autovember, Day 16, Protect. And we are going to scrub to when Alita slices the missile in half and saves Optimus. So, we are going to go to Clone Wars Season 7. Final arc, which is, as you can see here, Episode 9. So the missile coming for Cody, and boom! Obi-Wan slices the missile in half, and he looks really cool doing it. That was the inspiration for Alita's Optimus save in Autovember, Day 16. In your universe, do Knockout and Prime Breakdown have a weird private time? What? Ugh. They kind of don't know what they are, if that makes sense. Like, they kind of just have this working relationship where they haven't exactly defined, like, if they're even friends. They just keep working together and people assume things about them, even though they haven't said, nor do they even know what exactly their working relationship is. That's kind of where I'm settling it. What's up? Hey, Ender, what's up? It's night in your case, it's morning in mine. Gotta prepare my students' online classes soon. Oh wow, must be on the other side of the world. Seal job protected. I'm still convinced RIDB was supposed to be smokescreen at one point. Actually fair. Shocked miss best Star Wars movie. Siege of Mandalore, that is. Yeah. Overthinking it. Don't need to think about robot relations, lol. Yeah, no, it doesn't even work like that in the War Chronicles universe, but I'm not gonna get into that on stream right now. But yeah, the battle of Urbana and Obi-Wan's save of Commander Cody by slicing the rocket was the inspiration for Autovember right there. Wrong tab. Close that tab. And we're going to go to Day 17, Protocol. We're going to scrub to about here.
Leave him alone. He did nothing wrong.
Pay attention to the soundtrack in the background. That will be important.
Sir, you have to tell them.
Nothing bad happens when you stay on protocol.
Alright, so that is actually a track that was lifted from Clone Wars. It's not considered an official track, but it was a track that was lifted from Clone Wars from the Kid Boba Fett arc from the episode Death Trap.
I'm sorry. Traitor.
You'll regret this.
But yeah, that's a lifted soundtrack from Star Wars Boba Fett's theme in the episode Death Trap. That was the soundtrack that was used during Nightbird's death in Autovember, Day 17. See, my brother threw so loud, Mom and Dad came home angry, mostly my mom, because she needs to manage her anger. This feels like something maybe not to be shared in the comment section of a public live stream. This feels like something to be worked out in person. Could be just me, though. Always imagine Knockout and Breakdown's brothers, former Stunticons in my story. Oh, that's neat. Yes, I also played around with the idea of them being Stunticons. Yeah, Crony Spots don't do the yoikity splicky. Good news, I finally hit 2K. Good for you, Ender. Good for you. No, this episode hurts so bad. Oh shit, oh sorry. Didn't mean to swear. So get like the slight accent you ended up giving Nightbird. Thank you. That's my poor attempt at a Latina accent. Nightbird, no. Gosh, I remember that when Megtron tried to get her back. She didn't have a smark anymore. CJ, what's up? I feel so bad for Nightbird. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks. Thanks for showing the references. Well, thank you for popping in, Maverick. All right, let's see. So that was day 17 protocol. And then Autovember day 25. So most of you already noticed that the theme here...
Stop fighting like you're still my size!
...is a modified version of the Han Solo and the Princess theme. We're gonna go to this portion. Right about here.
For the love of Prima, just marry her already.
So that is also directly based on the scene that track is from. And you'll see it right here. Once it loads.
Sir, I've isolated the reverse power flux coupling.
But yep, that was the direct inspiration for that portion. Oh, this one. I love this one so much. Does Prowl do the core override thing like in Siege where they blow up someone's brain? No, he doesn't. Because he's not a cop in the War Chronicles universe. Oh gosh, Ratchet, why? Ratchet and his horrible, horrible timing. I remember this one. Way to ruin the mood, Ratchet. Gotta go now. Have a good night. Bye, Payman. Have a good night. But yeah, this one was a direct reference. And you can see it's actually recommending my stream here, even though I'm actively doing the stream. But, yeah, that's the direct reference for this portion of the video here, as well as the music being lifted almost bar for bar from that scene as well. Because honestly, Han and Leia were like my first ever ship. Like I shipped them quite a lot. Honestly, they kind of remind me of my parents in a cute way. I was like, I'm rooting for these guys to be together. If they ever build a sparkling, wonder what they would name it. I hope this doesn't sound gross, as in the Foxtron Prime videos. Honestly, it would be really cute if they had a son to name him Orion, like kind of as a way of like, a way of like carrying on Orion Pax's legacy, since Optimus is no longer Orion Pax. Make no promises. 3PO wouldn't have lost his head right there. Ultimate fourth wall break. Oh, that's so cute. So that is the reference in Autovember Day 24. We now go to Autovember Day 29, Flight. So, as most of you probably realize, this is a direct Order 66 reference.
My fellow Seekers, I ask that you join us.
Almost scene for scene, not exactly shot for shot. But you'll see that guy got blown off the cliff there. And then what you will find here is that and then we're gonna get to
I ask you to share in the power and purpose of the Decepticon.
He's like, oh, I know, I'm very good at describing things. I can't play too much of this clips because it's a very distinctive song. And then they just nail him. And then we pop over this next scene here.
I ask you to renounce the Autobots who take you for granted.
Boom, boom, boom. And then upward shot is almost exactly what this shot was inspired by. And then we have Windblade falling to her knees. And then that is the Yoda in that scene. And from there, Slipstream is more so.
Don't do it, Slipstream.
Is more so kind of her own thing, but that whole first half, shot for shot reinterpretation of the Order 66. See, oh, little baby Orion. Oh, I can see that. Oh man, DevCon got the worst luck in that video. I don't even know why I just do the rock and roll devil horns RL, but I can't stop thinking of the Knights of Unicron. Those are such cool album covers. The Wilhelm Scream. Oh, I love that though. Poor Windblade. Kind of weird to use a Sparkless Seeker. I use him as just a random Seeker because he doesn't look super dead apart from having the rusty color scheme. Like, maybe the guy just likes rust. Yeah, no, that's very sad. DEFCON, no. I think Kiadimundi actually survived that. No idea if I spelled that right. What did those troopers have against her? Good lord. I know, they shot her to literal pieces. There's headcanons because it's implied that Commander Bly and Isla Secura had sort of an unspoken thing going on. It's kind of implied that even through the chip manipulation of Order 66, the one thing Bly and his men knew was that they wanted to give Isla Secura a quick death, as quick of a death as possible. Like, that was the least of the mercy they could extend to her. But knowing what we know now about the chips, I don't know if that's the case, because in Legends, they were literally just following orders, quite literally. If I could sing Worth a Damn, I'd offer to do a cover for a Chronicverse without it happening. Yeah, no, honestly, more than a singer, I need someone who just like composes like cool orchestral music, particularly in that classical vein that like Star Wars is in. Once Leader Lugnut comes out, does that mean we'll see him simping over Megatron? Yes, Leader Lugnut is on my list. Well, if you offered for the Knights to do a cover, yeah. So obviously that is a pretty blatant reference. That one was actually 2/8's suggestion, and I'm very glad for it, because obviously I love Star Wars. I love cramming as many little references as possible. And so now we are coming to the final film that most recently came out in the War Chronicles universe, and that is Sparks of War. And that has several reference links. So we are going to hit Sparks of War. We're going to start. Right here.
Take this.
I mean, I appreciate the thought, but Alita already gave me a giant axe.
Alright, so that is a reference. And you'll notice that all of my sequel trilogy references are solely Force Awakens, because that is my favorite, and I feel it was the most cohesive of the sequel movies. That one actually intrigued me quite a bit.
You might need this.
I think I can handle myself.
I know you do. That's why I'm giving it to you.
Now, obviously, Orion wasn't quite as full of himself in that scene as Rey was here. Rey was being a little bit snotty. If someone offers you a free gun, please take the free gun. But anyway, we catch up with the chat. Oh, Sparks of War. War! Ba, 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 ba. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Oh boy, Screamed by the Punisher. Oh, that one with Orion throwing up. Wow, that's dark. Yep, that is the one where Orion throws up. Thought that was only a Bayverse thing. Nope. In uncomfortable situations in my canon, or situations that, in the situations where basically a normal human would throw up, a Transformer would be able to throw up, we would call it, in the War Chronicles universe at least, a tank purge. Like, they're purging their tanks of energon because there's some kind of funkiness going on, like either like in their head or like they drank some weird energon. Was the main characters being snotty and jerks? Take this darn thing, slag it. I quite like Sparks of War, probably one of my favorite videos you've ever done. Thank you. Gotta love trauma nausea. Yeah, trauma nausea. Yeah, no, the main characters being jerks thing, I don't understand it. I think it's an attempt to look tough, but I think that just shows that the creators have no idea what true strength is. But that's a debate for another time. So we're actually going to immediately press play again because there's another reference packed into this singular scene.
Then do it for me. I'll sleep easier knowing you'll have a defense.
All right. So let's find. Oh, that's awesome. So 2-8 just got a giant Commander Cody helmet and is looming over me, staring at me with his Commander Cody helmet on.
It's so hard to breathe in this thing.
It's very cool. He says it's very hard to breathe in it. But we are currently going to pop over to this scene from Attack the Clones. There's more Attack the Clones references in my stuff than I thought there was, honestly.
Do it for me, milady, please. The thought of losing you is unbearable.
And so we see here that is the other side of Palpatine. We talked about the first side of Palpatine in relation to Maul, Insidious / Starscream and Megatron, but here we're seeing the more manipulative side of Palpatine presented in Megatron and Orion. So in the context here, Palpatine is basically encouraging Padme to take a Jedi escort to protect her from assassination, knowing full well that Anakin has had a crush on Padme for years, and that suggesting that Obi-Wan guard her will mean Anakin sees Padme again and is tempted by her. So here we see that Palpatine is working a few of his wiles on Padme, basically guilting her into acquiescing to his demands by saying like, "Oh, I would be distraught if anything happened to you. Please take my suggestion." And that is the reference here. Basically, Megatron's like, "Please, like, do this for me. I would be distraught if anything happened to you. Take this gun. Do a crime." All right, back to the chat. Let's see. Is Sideways a senator and what is Ratbat? Is he a senator before or is he a minicon? He's always a minicon. Sideways, I do have plans for. I don't believe it's in the political realm, though. Real talk, though, Alita being so helpful without being overly sweet. It's just like, you know what you're doing with her. I do, yes. I have a soft spot for sweet girls, but I also have a soft spot for really tough girls. I took a lot of martial arts. Like I enjoy like embracing the toughness and the softness of being a woman, and that's something I enjoy expressing in female characters as well. So thank you for that. It's a media problem as a whole because even back in the 80s action movies, the leads were usually a-holes for no reason. See a lot of writers saying we have too many nice characters. Let's give us someone bratty, make them more unique. See also Disenchantment. The problem with brats is nobody likes them. No matter how much you try to use them to spice things up, in real life, nobody likes a brat. Nobody likes people who are entitled or think they know everything. Those are the type of people that you suffer through in situations where you can't escape it. And when you see it in media, you're gonna diss it. Didn't bug me as much with Coraline or Lilo and Stitch, as both of them were neglected kids. Yeah, Lilo was like a little kid. I don't blame her for that. There's a lot of crash out kids, and a lot of that is more the fault of like childhood trauma or poor parenting. Like, I don't fault Lilo for that. Any crossover Transformers in your universe? Does the Jurassic Park guy with the hard hat that was in the background of Day 17 protocol, does that count? Like, I don't know if I'm considering any of the crossover Transformers, like, being added in. Most of them are kind of unstable to shoot stop motion with. It's fine. My writing for TF mostly came from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Wow, he looks weird in that shot. Do crime. Go do a crime. You're supposed to say, yippee! Hell yeah, fellow badass fighting girl. Crime, 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 crime. You know, I'm glad we're not seeing any cosmic rust sickness in this universe. You never know. I might introduce some kind of like rust plague, cybonic plague, some sort of bioweapon or sickness. You know, I just beat my chest each time I said crime and my chest hurts. Ow. Yeah, how do you feel now? You just beat your chest like a gorilla every time you said crime. Yeah. Okay, so that was 2 references in that one scene. I don't even remember what the heck is this next scene. Let me open her up because I don't remember which. Or no, wait. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I'm just gonna wait until it loads and then I'll pause it. Alright, so we are gonna scrub. Right about
The minute
here.
this goes sideways, we pull back.
Come on, Alita. We'll be okay. Also, you know you can call me Orion.
Am I interrupting anything?
Alright, so that is reference here.
No thanks.
Sorry, am I interrupting anything?
Now that's basically a direct line there, except for the sorry, because Sentinel Prime doesn't say sorry. But essentially, Han and Leia are kind of having like a little back and forth about the validity of Han's plan. In this case, Orion's plan. And then, what do you know? A handsome man in blue and gold walks in and just casually says, "Am I interrupting anything?" That do be the reference. That's from Empire Strikes Back in Cloud City. I see zombies, Terracons too. My money's on Cliff. Shockwave / oil slick foreshadowing. You know? Maybe. I have the intelligence of a monkey, so it's fitting. Her name is Alita, not Ariel. Why is that? Mostly because Orion becoming Optimus and getting a name change makes sense to me. Because he's becoming a Prime. Most Primes change their names when they become a Prime. Ariel / Alita changing her name only makes sense to me in the context of G1 because she was also rebuilt into basically a new person. So it doesn't really make sense to me that she would change her name. It just feels like, yeah. It just feels like she's always been Alita, and she kind of doesn't need to change her name and change her body in that drastic of a way. Predator noise. Yes, Arachnid does use predator noises. That's that's sort of like the one holdout she kept when transition, apart from the spider legs. The spider legs and the predator noises were the holdouts that she kept of her beast type mannerisms and appearance when she transitioned over into a vehicular form as part of her plea deal with Sentinel Prime. But it's just kind of like a noise that she makes either to announce her presence or to sort of menace her enemies. And you'll see that her clicking kind of increases in proportion to when she thinks Sentinel is being threatened or the enemies are nearby. Is Alchemist surviving Prime since he's McAdams? He's actually... So, when Orion's having his life flash before his eyes, essentially when he dies, spoiler alert, you see briefly in his life flashing before his eyes, McAdam / Alchemist is kicking Megatron and Orion out of the bar, and Megatron's literally carrying Orion out, and Orion's reaching back. He's like, "I'm fine, we can stay," type thing. Megatron's like, "Nope, you've had too much." He has him under his arm. So if you scrub back and you look at that, that is my little McAdam Easter egg. Their relationship is so interesting. So you guys aren't dating? Yeah, I just saw you kiss behind the building. Yeah. What is this? Training? How to kiss? Wish we saw Dion in this universe. I don't have a Dion figure, so I don't have Dion, but I do have kind of a little friend for Orion, pre-Decepticons that will serve kind of a Dion-esque role. But you guys will have to wait and see. I see. I see. I decided to keep the theme of they get rebuilt into new people for my AU mostly. Nice. You can actually do a decent Predator noise. Kind of. Not really, but hey, I try. Hey! Becoming more and more like Peter Cullen every day. For those of you who don't know, Peter Cullen makes the sound of the Predator with his own mouth. Like he just did that in the recording studio to make the sound of the Predator that. See, I can't even do it, but like a sound in the back of his throat. Oh boy, Drunken. Love the idea of Orion being lightweight. He is, especially compared to Megatron. Because Megatron will probably down like 12 drinks and be a little buzzed, and then Orion has like a drink and a half, and he's like, wee! Dion will always be Ultra Magnus in my heart. Yeah, honestly, that's a good That's a good headcanon that he gets rebuilt into Ultra Magnus. What, Peter Cullen is the Predator? WTF? Yes, Peter Cullen makes the sounds of Predator, especially if your throat is dry. But that is the reference there. The "Am I interrupting anything?" is from Empire Strikes Back. And then we're going to go to further on this conversation.
Predacon namesake he idolizes? We fought a war against him to gain the stability we have now.
You're confusing stability with peace.
And then we're going to go to another Rogue One clip. What? Rogue One is a peak Star Wars movie.
You're confusing peace with terror.
Ignore these captions at the bottom. This was the highest quality clip I could find, and it's a foreign Star Wars account, but didn't catch that.
You're confusing peace with terror.
That line by Galen, or so you're confusing peace with terror, kind of flipped around and made into Orion's line, you're confusing stability with peace, but that line was the inspiration. It's just a very... What I enjoyed about this scene is Galen in the face of Krennic being like, Krennic's kind of like a bit of a crash out king, and the fact that Galen just so calmly refutes Krennic's arguments while standing there, almost literally being held at gunpoint and faced with Krennic. He's just very calmly refuting his arguments in front of a man he knows is the king of crash outs. So mad respect to him. And same for Orion here. 1 minute you're reading all the archives and suddenly you find yourself sucking down Energon with Badass Energon and his little sister. He also did the King Kong noises. Wait, seriously? I feel like Alita could drink everyone under the table, while Ryan's the type of guy who slams a fist down with a, I'll take a milk. Yes, Alita would be like our queen, Marion Ravencroft from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where she can drink like any guy under the table. Made Peter Cullen's throat bleed to do King Kong? Holy moly. Wait, said Galvatron Scourge that makes Cyclonus a Decepticon goon or a mystery bot? You know, I don't have a Cyclonus except for this really old Combiner Wars one that's showing its age, so I couldn't tell you. But that was our reference here. So let's see, what's the next reference? Ah, yes. So we are going to go to this next act here. This act
We just have to wait for evac. You'll be okay.
Alright, so that alarm in the background. And I couldn't find like an actual clip from the film with that. I apologize, because I forgot which clip from the film would be best to use because it's so prevalent. So we're just going to use this portion here. That is the Star Destroyer warning alarm, and I use it as basically like a background alert for Kolkular. As you can see down at the bottom, it says that they're in like the Kolkular fortress, and I just kind of use that as like an alarm as they're rushing everybody in. Let's see. More on the chat. He did some King Kong noise. I don't think he ever specified which ones, but older Kong movies. You plan to buy 86 Cyclonus then? Yeah, maybe when he comes out. Trust me, if you're not careful making weird monster noises, you can seriously F up your throat. In my story, injects will always be prohibited coming as Muslim myself until both drinkers become sober again. Until then, the drinkers are locked up until they're normal. I see. Nickel! Yes, Nickel. Oh, is this Sparks of War Director's Cut? Hello, Nightbeat! This is me going through Sparks of War as I went through my other War Chronicles videos and detailing out all of the Star Wars references that are in them as my contribution to May the 4th. I still haven't found Blocky's Tarn, not even my local comic book shop had him. I ordered him as soon as he came up on the Blocky's website, and he actually came very promptly. He came in like a week. I want to say it pops up in A New Hope during the Trench Run, but I can't remember. I did look at that. It's a different variation of the alarm. The Death Star alarm is a bit higher pitch than the, Star Destroyer alarm clip. But this is the clip I believe you're referring to. And you can see that alarm is a bit of a higher pitch, the Death Star alarm is, versus the Star Destroyer alarm. Nightbee, also, do you have an Apple computer? I do. Why do you ask? What gave you the idea to give Dreadwing a Russian accent? You know, just for funsies. He has kind of like this weird accent in TFP that I couldn't quite place, and I was like, he would sound like a boss if he were Russian. Actually, I only realized he would sound like a boss if he were Russian after hearing his voice actor's audition, because I was like, have fun with it, maybe an accent would be cool. And then Jozilla busts out a Russian accent, and I'm like, that's sick, I approve of that. Evening Nightbeat. Waving emoji. Hello, CJ. Hello, Shaki. Don't know how true they are, but I've seen some Reddit comments from former VAs saying they tore their vocal cords over doing monster noises. All you gotta do is have Megatron blow up Cybertron, or Velocitron, or whoever's Palpatine in your AU. Yeah, so we were just talking about the similarities between Megatron and Palpatine, and basically the kind of different training / sort of grooming approaches he takes to basically his apprentices, so to speak. Like we see with Sidious that he's very brutal on Maul, and he kind of uses like a punish and reward cycle that he uses with that Megatron uses with Starscream in films like Power Play. Whereas with Orion, it's a more subtle manipulation, it's affirmation, it's sort of like this caring like older figure in his life, similar to Palpatine and Anakin. But yeah, we did a whole deep dive on why Megatron manipulates in a similar way to Palpatine. Wow, fascinating how different those alarms are. I asked because the taskbar at the top and everything is round, whereas my Windows Toast, I mean, very nice device, it's rectangular. Yeah, no, I updated the computer recently, and now everything is like super round and like thing. Is Skybite one of Megatron's second in commands? He is not. I haven't actually decided what I'm doing with him yet. What's good, chat? Hey, EB, what's up? I want you to say that to me one more time. Too bad we can't use soundbites in live chat. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. But that was the Star Destroyer Siren reference. It's in universe called the Klaxon Alarm. Let's see, what's the next? Let's see. Beep, 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 beep.
Took the Matrix.
I wanted to kill him. Hurt him. Like he hurt Alita. Primus helped me. I came so close.
Too close. No. Don't dismiss your anger out of hand. I understand how that feels.
And so, see, we have here Megatron again affirming, like, Orion's darker side, like his impulse to kill Sentinel in the moment. And he's like, this is the natural thing for you to feel, like, don't stuff it down. So now, we're gonna see where that comes from. And of course, who does it come from but my boy Palpatine. So, let's see.
You did well, Anakin. He was too dangerous to be kept alive.
Yes, but he was an unarmed prisoner. I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way.
It is only natural. He cut off your arm, and you wanted revenge. It wasn't the first time, Anakin. Remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People?
And see, there we have Palpatine basically reaffirming that Anakin made the correct decision and a decision that was a logical conclusion based on what had happened to him. He's like, hey, you're right to be mad. He cut off your arm. Why shouldn't you kill him? And we see that same type of reasoning applied in Megatron, who's like, yeah, honestly, like, I understand why you want to kill Sentinel. That's perfectly justified. And now we're going to check in with the chat. Squeak. Maybe the shark would be a poem writer for his experiences. Yeah, honestly, I do think that's a funny aspect in IDW. I don't know if I'd adapt it well. If only Chuck was here. I gotta scram. Bye, y'all. Bye, Striker. I think we scared him away. Bye, Striker. If Emperor Palpatine were in charge of Orange Juice, his galaxy, his name would be Emperor Palpatine. Might be the dad joke, bro. That was definitely a dad joke. You've now become a father. Don't ask questions. You've now become a father. You just made such a dad-coded joke. You're now a father. There is no further context. But we're also going to scrub to this portion where Megatron
Hush. Do not be ashamed, brother. No one will warn the wicked.
And then we kind of see that this is Orion's sort of, and then we'll scrub back.
Kill him now.
And we see kind of a similar position between Dooku and Sentinel Prime here. Difference being Orion couldn't go through with it, and Megatron actually is the one to physically pull the trigger. But the sentiment is very similar. Unarmed prisoner, fearing for his life.
Do it.
And whereas do it is enough for Palpatine to convince Anakin, also given that Palpatine has been a fatherly figure in Anakin's life since he was basically 9 years old. So, obviously he's got some years on Megatron and Orion's dynamic. But we see do it is enough here for Anakin to kill Dooku. It's not quite enough for Orion to be the one that actually murks Sentinel, as we see here. Please! Megatron pulls the trigger. Let me check in on Le Chat here. Are the mercenaries their own faction? Mostly the Decepticon faction. What will the Quintessons do? TBD. TBD. Only use Skype once my stop motions. I'm a father. Since you got the guard with the Autobot Trooper, he is a father to his series. I am your father. Gosh dang it, Nipey. That's not true. That's impossible. That line's always been misquoted. Yeah, it's no, I am your father. From the meme. She set me up for that perfectly. Can you really blame me? Nah, I'm just bad at how clever that was. everything is proceeding as I have foreseen. But those are more Palpatine references in here. And then we have a final reference in Sparks of War that actually comes during the Senate shakedown scene, basically.
Alpha?
What are you doing? Come on.
And so that one comes from, so we're going back to the original trilogy with this one, from A New Hope. For context, Ben Kenobi is fighting Darth Vader so that they can escape. And as they're escaping is where we get to
Ben?
And that was kind of a small reference, but that was kind of the foundation of where this came from. Like, Orion noticing that his mentor is about to be struck down, and he's like, well, I've got to do something about it. And in this instance, Obi-Wan dies and through the Force tells Luke to run before Luke can get there. But in this instance, Orion fully believes he's capable of talking down the guy with the giant fusion cannon on his arm because he's brave and also a little stupid. So that's kind of where we get Megatron's line in Autovember 25, Day 1, Brave, where Megatron tells Starscream, you remind me of my former second in command. He also had a habit of walking this line between bravery and foolishness. Yeah, that'd be what he's talking about right there. Let's see. Looking back, you can't really fault Anakin for becoming a monster. All it takes a few people around you to become one. I still want to excuse kids and innocence. Oh yeah, he both made his own conscious decisions and pretty bad decisions, but was also significantly influenced by people who had bad intentions in his life. Weird how you made Toe Line to the High Council. I figured to be a normal Autobot goon. Well, I needed a character. I don't care much about the Toe Line figure. He kind of crumbles easily. So I was like, well, instead of incorporating Toe Line into the universe as a background character and having to animate him more, I'm just going to kill him off right here and never have to worry about animating him again. Walking the line of bravery and foolishness. That's a good-ass line. Well, thank you. That came from my own brain. So that was definitely... That whole exchange was very fun to write. But I believe that was the last Star Wars reference in this film, apart from the fact that I'm using Star Wars fan soundtracks throughout all of this. Let's see, what are some good tracks to reference here? You can reference...
Standing around for. Kill them!
You can reference this portion. That is the Boba Fett motif from Empire Strikes Back. The part where Orion strikes down Sentinel is a clone motif used in the Clone Wars, and all of these are motifs that Louis Humanoid wove into different soundtracks of his, and then I took a mixture of his different soundtracks and basically pulled out where he's using prominent Star Wars motifs and sort of applied them to certain scenarios. Here, we see immediately afterwards where Orion faces the temptation to kill Sentinel.
Go for the damn head. Or you.
That is Sidious's track. That's the Darth Sidious track from Return of the Jedi. And then that same track is also used when Sentinel is sort of monologuing right here.
As for your request, I wish I could grant it, but I don't think you realize.
But we see that that theme comes up when he's referring to Megatron, And then when Orion's at this turning point, we also hear Sidious's theme. Sidious is a major influence on Megatron and his styles of manipulation. So I thought it was fitting to take any Sidious motif and use it to that kind of benefit. That one's a small one, but that one is the Dooku on Geonosis motif from Attack of the Clones. Let's see. And then once he gives the gun to Orion.
Orion be the one to end the reign of the false pride!
What are you doing?
Giving you what you want.
We're looking at a fan-made version of Anakin's dark deeds, essentially like the choral, like a choral version of Anakin's dark deeds, slowed down, and recomposed with some different instruments and a couple of different like portions to it. But this is the Anakin's dark deeds segment where he's basically going through and executing the separatist leaders in cold blood. So that's where that comes from. Is it here that?
Where we can finally be heard.
Do you? Do you really want to be heard? Or do you want to be feared? Because that's what we're doing. You've paraded us across the planet like a grand army, and you just...
Yeah, that part where Orion is standing up to him, you hear the beginnings of the clone motif from Clone Wars, and that's kind of the motif I use when Orion starts to sort of become his own person. He starts to step out of Megatron's shadow, and he starts to push back against what Megatron tells him. So that's kind of Orion's theme of rebellion against Megatron. Couldn't find like a Sidious theme necessarily for Toe Line's execution where I wanted it to be, so I settled for good old Imperial March.
Any more pathetic posturing? No? Good. Then again, perhaps it's better to finish this here and now. Yes?
And then we're back to the clone motif.
For a bot losing his nerve, this is a surprise.
And we get to the Hug of Doom.
Your friendship was worth it.
And then this is part of the choral portion of Palpatine's motif / Sidious's motif.
Times we do this.
Then this is a remix of Anakin's betrayal when he shoots him.
No!
And then we see, once we get to here where he drops the Matrix.
Do not test my mercy.
And that, I was fortunate that cover, the Anakin's Betrayal remix, resolves with a touch of Anakin and Padme's love theme, Across the Stars, which in the Affairs of Spark little short with Alita and Orion, I kind of claimed that as like their love theme. So I was fortunate enough to find that Anakin's Betrayal remix, which had it sort of resolved in Padme and Anakin's romance, like love theme motif. And so when she runs to him at the end, it resolves in that way. So yeah, those were some of the fun little motifs that I pulled out of Louise Humanoid's fan tracks and started incorporating at the correct points in Sparks of War to make it make it work, honestly. But let's see. Well, I guess that's it. When you no longer want to animate someone, the answer is clear. Character kill off. I wonder who else did that. Yeah, definitely wasn't Thunderwing Studios killing off Hotshot in the season finale of Aftermath. Definitely not. Tomorrow I'm gonna see if I can find Prime Cliff. Is Prime Cliff your definitive version? Yeah, I'd say he's my definitive version. Arachnid's helicopter form is always so cool. I'd say Prime Cliff. Damn, still going? It's awesome. Welcome back, Rod. There's this guy who made pretty good soundtracks. His name is Samuel Kim. He's around, but he hasn't posted in some time. Yeah, no, I love Samuel Kim's tracks. He does not permit his music to be used copyright free on YouTube. Louise Humanoid does. So that's a distinct difference between them that leads me to choose Louise Humanoid's tracks over Samuel Kim's tracks. If I make a Senate, Sideways will be a senator in my universe. Cool. I'm gonna dip for now. If I can think of a Star Wars way to say so long, I would, but I'm just gonna say, bye. You know, there's always the classic, may the force be with you. Night Night Beat, do you want to be heard or feared? I love that line. Well, thank you. Got a bit of Invincible vibes from this. You know, for a girl who's never watched Invincible, I hear that a lot. Man, such a sad sight. Aw, hell no, my boy died in Thunderwing Studios. Bro, have you not watched season 1 of Aftermath? Yeah, Hotshot died. But yeah, I'll hang out with the chat for a little while longer, but I think we reached the conclusion here. I'm just gonna settle on some awesome shot
Merely
of
a
this
new beginning.
that you guys can just like
Or
watch.
simply put, another transformation.
There we go. I'll pause it right there and y'all can stare at that lovely image while I catch up with the chat. Can't wait to see Silverbolt soon. Maybe his Beast version too. I do have both, actually. He's a separate character. Sorry, I heard my boy died and was sent him back. Yeah, so somebody needs to go watch the finale of Aftermath Season 1. Anyway, bye for realsies this time. Alright, bye, Nightbeat. May the Force be with you. But I'll hang out in here for a couple more minutes, and then I think we'll call this stream a night. So, CJ says night. Let's honestly see who the top fans are. You know, I never look at this leaderboard, but I'd be curious to see, like, who... I'd be curious to see who the top fans are. Let's see. In number 1, we had Purple, and that would probably be because of the gems he sent in the chat. And then in number 2, we have Dice, and that would be because of the super chat. So then we have CJ at number 3. So congratulations to the 3 of you. Sweet. Well, best get going. It's nearly bedtime for me. All right, have a good night, Daniel. May the force be with you. EB, I'm trying my best. Oh my gosh, EB, did you just become a member? No freaking way. Dude, you just became a member. Thank you. Congratulations. I didn't even realize there was a leaderboard until 2 minutes ago. Dude, no way. 2 members. That's freaking awesome. Love y'all. Love y'all. Do you own the Razorclaw fig? Because he's honestly fun to animate with in Remnants of the Past. No, I don't. I've seen him at every Target, but I just haven't had it in me to drop $60 on him. Low-key forgot it's 1 a.m. over here. Yeah, it's only 10 for me. 99, may the force be with you. May the force be with you, Dice. Thank you for the super chat. Is Age of the Prime smokescreen worth getting? Spider K, yes, he is absolutely worth getting. He's a lovely little figure. His tabs are a little finicky, so transformation doesn't always tab fully in place. Oh, CJ, you said you want to know how much a membership was? Let me see. I forgot my own membership prices. Your membership offers. Oh, Rodimus became a member too. Oh, congratulations, Rodimus. I didn't even realize you became a member. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see. Oh, yeah, so it looks like looks like Rodimus, Ebi, and Ali all became the War Chronicles Lieutenant, which is a $6 subscription. And then there's the Captain, that's $4, and there's the Sergeant, that's $2. So for the Sergeant, you get loyalty badges, emojis, early access to new videos. For the Captain, you get, in addition to that, member-only streams and chats. And then for the Lieutenant, you also get priority replies on your comments in streams and member-only polls. So that is the levels of membership. A little shameless plug there. Yeah, thank you so much, Rod. I appreciate it. Yeah, you all purchased the highest tier of membership, and I'm extremely grateful for that. So thank you all. Love you. I'm not gonna get Prime Smokescreen. I hate him in the show, and I don't want to own a character I dislike. Ah, shucks. I'm sorry you hate him. He did have his obnoxious moments, but I feel he was a very interesting character. Not only because he was a young character that Team Prime got to mentor and basically work out some of their own flaws through mentoring Smokescreen, but because even though Smokescreen didn't make it to being a Prime, they set him up in a way that he could have potentially been one later on down the road. Like, even down to the fact that he worked in the archives alongside Alpha Trion. Like, my little man was an archive boy, just like Orion Pax. And he showed, like, the quality, like, similar qualities to Hot Rod. In fact, I think initially they wanted Hot Rod to be Smokescreen, but they didn't want to put Hot Rod's majorly disrespected name on that character, so they chose Smokescreen. But they built him up in a good way, and I think they gave him some good heroic moments, some good build-up, and a point where eventually you could have seen him believably inherit the primacy from Optimus, even though he didn't. That's the caveat, because then Bumblebee became the golden child. CJ, why not? He's so cute. He is so cute. He's adorable. His little salutes. I love how he and RC interact. Like, RC is super done with him, and he's like super like, "Hi, I'm here to do whatever it takes to complete the mission." That was although that was actually oh my gosh, that was a Springer quote from Wrecker's Penance Part 1. So, he's bestest boy. Man, Hot Rod gets a lot of hate. He does. This is why I had to give him trauma in the War Chronicles universe. So instead of hate, people just feel bad for him. And then we can proceed to build his character back up in a meaningful way. Smokescreen and Ultra Magnus in that show are my least favorites. See, Ultra Magnus has a stick up his butt, but, like, he's also a very interesting character. Bro's an idiot, but he's educated. RC and Smokescreen give Black Cat and Golden Retriever vibes. Smokescreen Prime is a fanboy. Absolutely, he's a fanboy. Alright, fellas, well, I think I'm going to start wrapping up for the night, but I appreciate you all coming in and listening to me ramble about Star Wars and the War Chronicles universe. A special shout out to everyone who became members over the course of this stream. So that would be EBP 737, who joined as a War Chronicles Lieutenant, Ali Al-Momen, who joined as a War Chronicles Lieutenant, and Rodimus Riot Productions, who joined as a War Chronicler Lieutenant. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you for becoming members. I really appreciate the support, and I hope you find the perks very enjoyable. And thank you to Dice Studios for the super chat as well. That's also greatly appreciated. But love y'all. And as a wise man once said,